Looking to dominate this NFL Thanksgiving slate? Looking to dominate all of NFL Week 13? Well, my friends, you've come to the right place. We've got expert injury analysis, fantasy football tips, and of course, NFL best bets. This NFL Week 13 edition of the Degen Docs on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Sign up with promo code SGPN@Doc to get a 50% deposit bonus up to $1,000. We're also brought to you by Rhythm. Start crushing college football and NFL with Rhythm. Get your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. Welcome, DJs, far and wide. What we love to do here. Let's talk injuries. Biggest one, Brandon Ayuk, ACL, MCL, multi-ligament knee injury. He's out for the season. Josh Oliver, anytime touchdown, plus 850, which was 10-1 earlier.
From a Denver standpoint, another defense to get in the end zone.
Welcome to the official Degen Docs Red Zone Bitching Hour.
The only thing I want to bitch about is basically they were so bad that CD was just, he had a decent day. Let's get this off the screen for just a second. I'm going to hijack this. We're going to go to the professor's office hours.
Oh!
For a second here.
Welcome, Degens, far and wide, to another edition of the Degen Docs. What is up, folks? I am one of your hosts here, the OG Degen Doc himself. But more importantly, I am joined by my brother in degeneracy, Derek Bennett, a.k.a. Professor Locks. How we doing tonight, brother?
Doing well. We are here on the eve of Thanksgiving. I've already started with a little turkey, if you know what I mean.
Getting a little wild already. Look,
folks, wild
turkey
right tonight.
Top, we apologize for being a little bit late. I'll take that on chin. But what I have to say is it's Thanksgiving tomorrow. Nope, none of you guys are fucking working. All right, so let's all relax. Let's crack open one, and let's cheers to you good people of the audience for joining us here.
Hey, speaking of cheers.
Yes.
I did want to bring up something that you had texted me. I can't remember. It was earlier this week. Something about, for those listeners that are tuning in for one of the first times, Sebastian, one of my dear friends, is in the Army, and every once in a while, as a captain in the Army.
Yes.
You have to switch bases and kind of pick up and move somewhere else. And you asked me what earlier this week as far as moving.
I just posed a question. All right. Look, I was in a weak state and I just asked, hypothetically, if I was going to be moving to a different place in a sports city, do I root for that team? It was just a harmless question.
Yeah. So I immediately thought, you know what? Because it's also the week of Thanksgiving. Hey, let's go into some office hours. I'm going to take you hostage for a second, bring you into the office, and teach you a couple of things. So it is Thanksgiving.
Do I get to join this office hours?
Yes, this office hours is for you.
Because, what a privilege.
You are contemplating. If you end up moving, do you change alliances as far as your favorite teams? And, as soon as you pose that question, I thought, you know what, perhaps, I don't know if this is really possible because I don't think there's one in the state of Ohio, but maybe you're moving closer to Ohio and wanted to change alliances. And it is that Saturday after Thanksgiving. And I just wanted to pull this quick video up for the folks.
I would like to raise a toast, and I'm going to do it by Owens! Ohio!
So, just just throwing this out here. We need to work on your hand motions with OH.
Get the fuck out of here. All right, look.
If we're going to the H, we're not doing the YMCA, man. It's touchdown.
Yes,
straight up.
It is rivalry week in college football. Yes, I did give a toast for Derek's wedding, and being in Ohio, I grew up a Michigan fan. I put that aside for a second out of friendship, but I didn't know I was going to be exploited like this. So I got next time we got to run.
If you're wanting to disband that team up north, come on over to the light side.
The dark side? Yeah, no, get the fuck out of here. All right, yeah, absolutely not. We got to start running these office hours through HR. I got to see if these get approved. I feel like this is going off the books here. But look, folks, hey, happy Thanksgiving. And we were just talking about college football. And look, I tweeted this out, but I have some advice for you all. I myself have already done it, but I am giving you the advice right now with over a month in advance. I am imploring you to take off work, take off all responsibilities from January the 10th until Tuesday. What is that? January. I don't know what day that is though. Whatever that next Tuesday is. Look, and here's the reason why. For the first time ever, we have college football playoffs blending in to the NFL playoffs.
Yeah.
So on Thursday, the 9th of January, we get one college football semifinal. Then on Friday, we get the other college football semifinal. Then on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, it is NFL playoffs. It is 5 straight days of postseason football. I have already taken off work from both Friday and Monday. So as of Thursday afternoon, all I will be doing is drinking, eating, and watching postseason college football and get ready to make some money off postseason football. So that's my advice to you. We're in a giving mood. It is the Thanksgiving holiday. So the one piece of advice I want to give you is take off the weekend of the 10th and the 13th. You're going to want those days off to prepare. Don't say I never gave you anything. So that is my contribution to Banner. What else? We good to get in the show? Anything else you want to hit on?
No. Well, actually, you know what? Evidently, the new practice squad safety didn't do much for your New York Football Giants last weekend, but it sounds like Danny Dimes may have found a new home.
Yes, Daniel Jones now, for those that did not see, signed to the Minnesota Vikings practice squad. I'm sure he will eventually be the quarterback 2 or 3 for Minnesota. He had one of his best games of his life in the playoff game against Minnesota. Maybe that left a lasting impression in 2022. Sure. So Daniel Jones his Giants tenure is officially done. Unlike Saquon Barkley, I wish him well because he did not go to a rival. So yeah, let's go ahead and do that. And let's go ahead and kick the show off, and let's actually start talking football so we can get to these festivities because we got a jam-packed show for y'all. Very excited. We're going to be doing our banged up best. We're debuting another new segment. We're going to give our best bets. We're going to give our DJ parlay, underdog, and then a Thursday night Thanksgiving slate preview. So we've got a packed show. We are not running up against the Monday Night Football, Thursday Night Football show. So we're going to get to take some time, drink with y'all, and talk some football. And let's go ahead and start off with encouraging y'all to jump in the chat, and we will answer your questions. So we got Domo here. Cheers to you, Domo. Domo, we got the mystery. I may have had a couple before we got online here. All right, half PPR offered JT Pickens and Evan Ingram for Harrison Jr., Tracy, and Bucky. All right, so he has Harrison Jr., Tracy, Bucky, JT, Evans, and Ingram, CD, guaranteed 8 and 4, guaranteed playoff spot. What do you think? Any upgrades there? I mean, look, he's got Puka and CD who are going to be locked in, Achane and Najee likely. Sure. So we really, Tracy and Bucky, are they going to take over the RB2 slot in the flex? And then Marvin Harrison Jr. Oh, man. Personally, I don't want to trust 2 rookies over guys who have been established. So I I mean, well, so I guess in this case, yeah, I do like the trade because I'm assuming this is not dynasty. This is just, redraft. But in a redraft setting, I think Jonathan Taylor and George Pickens are upgrades over Tracy and Bucky. And then Marvin Harrison Jr., unless it's dynasty, or I guess it depends on if it's dynasty. But if it's not dynasty, then redraft, I would take this trade. What about you?
I probably wouldn't actually, unless your tight end room is just awful and you need somebody like Evan Ingram and even him with that quarterback situation. I guess I haven't been tracking his stats real well over the last few weeks, but I'm always in favor, especially later in the season, to like really look at matchups. And if I have two backs over one, that gives me more potential to have a favorable matchup with Bucky Irving or Tyrone Tracy versus JT. So, I mean, wide receiver wise, you already have two studs in CD and Puka. Harrison Jr., definitely would be an upgrade for Pickens, but I don't think I would probably take that one.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's close. For me,
that's a really close one. That's a good offer.
Yeah, I see him as a true wide receiver one. I like where that offense is. Jonathan Taylor, I mean, if the Colts are if they can just fucking hand him the ball off, he's having a hell of a year, right? And Tracy, I just don't trust the Giants, and that offensive line is terrible. Tampa Bay, they've really been between Sean Tucker and White over there. That's been tough. Rashad White there. And then Marvin Harrison Jr., he's coming along. But no, I think it's close, but I would take it. Derek would not. So I don't know how much we helped you there, Domo, but whoever's reasoning you like better, go ahead and go with that. All right, folks, we're going to get into this. Before we do, I've got to tell you about some of the things that SGPN is giving away. That's right. In honor of Thanksgiving, we're running a massive merch sale Thursday through Sunday this week. So all the days that you're going to be sitting on your ass, making a bunch of money with our picks, eating some great food. Everything is 25% off with promo code Black Friday. That's right, 25% off everything, including they've got shirts for every team. Yes, if you are like me and you are a sad New York Giants football fan and your team sucks, don't worry. If you want to buy more gear for your team that's awful, they have it. Trust me, I have all the Giants gear that they have. Shout out to the merch god, Jake Paquin. Hung out with him in Vegas for NFL Week 1. Hell of a time, hell of a crew there, man. He does some cool stuff. So definitely encourage you guys to check that out. I mean, at this point, if I'm honest, I'm not a guy who likes to shop. Pretty much all of my new clothing comes from the SGPN merch store.
Yeah, no, shirts are super comfortable. They fit really well. I am personally looking to get a DGen University mug for this holiday season.
There you go. Yeah, maybe drop it down and casually slide it down while you're teaching. All right, man.
I most likely will keep it in my office at the university itself.
There you go. All right, brother. Let's get into this here. We're gonna start with a new segment that we debuted last week. Went off to it. A nice start. It was 2-1 on my side for when this went off here. So let's see if we can go 3-0 this week. So this is essentially what we're doing. Banged up bets. So what does this mean? This means, look, anybody can just read you, or you yourself can just read the injury news, right? Everyone can follow Ian Rappaport, Adam Schefter. Although annoying, everybody can just read what's happening, right?
Yep.
But not everybody can interpret that information and then turn it into value in the betting space. And that's where we feel, look, we're both healthcare professionals. We work with injuries every day. We work with athletes every day. This is where we feel we have an advantage. So this is what we're going to lean into here. And this is where Banged Up Bets was created. So here's what we're going to do. First up, Darius Slay dealing with concussion. Look, we talked about concussions a lot this season, mild traumatic brain injuries. And, the NFL concussion protocol is a fickle little bitch. Like in the beginning of the season, it's like, no, shut down. Nobody is getting approved. Everybody's sitting out 1 week. And then you kind of go throughout the season and some guys get in, some guys nobody really knows, right? Now, concussions themselves, very variable on their symptoms. It's kind of a mystery in the medical world as well. But it is likely that Darius Slay will not be cleared in time, right? We're obviously recording this on Wednesday. He did not practice today. So under that assumption, for those of us that watched that Rams and Eagles game, when Darius Slay went out of the game and Isaiah Rodgers came in, they were targeting him with great success. I mean, so I like Zay Flowers, 70+ receiving yards at plus 135. Flowers is obviously their wide receiver 1. I think they're able to pass the ball on this Philadelphia Eagles team. Another injury to go alongside this, Brandon Graham out for the season with a tricep injury. Their pass rush, Bryce Huff is on the IR, no Brandon Graham. That pass rush is very much limited at this point. So I think Lamar's going to have some time. I think that Zay Flowers, is his clear go-to guy. I think they get connected. They go to the opposite side of the field of Quinyon Mitchell, and they let Flowers feast. So give me Zay Flowers, 70+ receiving yards at plus 135. Following that up with New Orleans Saints cornerback Paulson Adebo. Now, this is a guy who is a little bit of a combo as well, but a guy who's been on the IR for a couple weeks now. But with the trade of Marshawn Lattimore, you've now asked, this went from being Paulson Adebo, Marshawn Lattimore, and Alontae Taylor, one of the best cornerback trios in the league, to now Alontae Taylor and a couple rookies and some backups. And ever since Marshawn Lattimore has been out, the Saints have given up over 300 yards passing in each of those past 2 weeks, right? And these guys that they've given it up to have not been the quality. I think, Kirk Cousins was among those people. Like, they're not the quality that Matthew Stafford is. Matthew Stafford, ever since his buddies Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp have came back, he has been on fire. So give me Matthew Stafford, 275+ passing yards at plus 160. I'm also, of course, sprinkling his 300+ at, I think, plus 310 is what I got it at. I think Matthew Stafford has a day against this New Orleans Saints team, which, yes, they are revitalized. They look better under this interim head coach, but that's really the offense. The defense is still giving up a ton of yards.
No doubt.
And then finally, Houston Texans defensive tackle Foley Fadokasu. He was out last week with a foot injury. He's still not practicing, as well as Will Anderson is not practicing, and Danico Autry. So three defensive linemen there. So give me Tank Bigsby anytime touchdown plus 155. One of the cons of recording this on Wednesday is we don't have all the lines out, right, which we'll talk about here in a little bit for these player props. But I like Tank Bigsby to have himself a day. I like his rushing props when they come out, but I also like his anytime touchdown at plus 155. I think he is truly taking over that RB1 role. He had a full practice off his ankle injury that was hindering him the past couple of weeks. So you've got 3 defensive linemen for the Houston Texans that are banged up, not practicing today. They've got Jalen Petrie, who we'll talk about later. He's out. He was the guy who plays down in the box. So I think the Jags could have some success in the running game. So give me Tank Bigsby to take advantage of that. Anytime touchdown, plus 155. All right, my friend, any comments? Are you ready to move on to yours?
No, I think all 3 of those I would go ahead and give my John Hancock to.
Well, what a pleasure, my friend. Thank you for allowing me that privilege. My pleasure, as they say in Chick-fil-A.
Nice job.
All right, what do you got for us?
Yeah, let's start off with the night game tomorrow night. So Jair Alexander has already been ruled out for that game, and I believe Xavier McKinney was also out of practice today for some personal reason. So that Green Bay secondary all of a sudden is looking a little bit beat up. And again, Xavier McKinney, they said it was a personal thing. They didn't really give us a whole lot of information about that. But give me Tyreek Hill, the Cheetah, to have a little bit of a day. He hasn't really gotten going all season. But I think there is some room there for him to get going a little bit tomorrow night. And really, I think that's almost the only way that they stay in this game, to be honest. So give me Tyreek Hill, 70+ receiving yards at plus 115.
I will say real quick, just McKinney will play. But yeah, he did have a personal thing. I don't know what the hell's going on there, but off the injury report. So
right. Tommy Cutlets last week didn't have the best showing and took a hell of a shot to the ribs. So in that case, if he ends up playing, and I expect him to, I do think they end up handing the ball off a little bit more. Dallas is giving up over 150 yards per game on the ground. So give me Tyrone Tracy to have a little bit of a day at 70+ rushing yards at plus 100. And then this is where, as my good friend Sebastian said, we don't really have numbers for all of these guys, but I do think there is kind of an opening in that Chargers game for Gus Edwards to have a good game. J.K. Dobbins hurt his knee sprain last week, and that opens up the door for for Gus Edwards. So give me Gus Edwards at 70+. Underdog had his fantasy projection out at 51.5. I just think that's too low. I would take the higher on that one as well.
Yeah, man, I really like that Gus Edwards play. Like I said, like you said, when the number comes out, I'm ready to jump all over that.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it on Underdog, but yeah, no, I think that JK being out for a little bit, I think that opens up opportunity. You talked about how Atlanta's susceptible to the run.
Yep.
We'll see how much run Hassan Haskins and Vidal get, but let's be honest. I mean, it should be Gus Edwards getting the lion's share of those carries.
Okay.
Tommy DeVito, I don't know if I expect him to play. I honestly expect Drew. He's a game time decision. I kind of expect Drew Lock at this point.
Really?
He's got, like you said, the rib. He's also dealing with his forearm injury. He said his whole body's sore. The guy that I just don't want. Like, how the hell is this? How have we come to this? That Tommy DeVito, beat up Tommy DeVito, is about to get rolled out there against the Dallas Cowboys on Thanksgiving. But we'll talk much more about that game in a second. So, yeah, man, I do really like Tracy. I think he's got a good opportunity. If that offensive line can give him any type of holes, he's been one of the few bright spots, him and Neighbors. So we'll see. All right, my friend, are you ready for the debut? I'm going to have to drink some water here to get ready for this segment myself.
Yeah, let's get after it.
All right, new segment, folks. This is the NFL Injury Report fastest 3 minutes. I don't even know how much of an introduction this needs, but essentially, look, this is the biggest injury news outside of what we're talking about today that you guys need to know. We're going to give it to you quick and dirty. Of course, if you have more questions, drop them in the chat. Get the chat popping. But this is how we make sure that you know what you should know. We're giving you everything just by listening to this podcast. So we're going to go a little back and forth here, and I'll start us off. So we got Kansas City running back Isaiah Pacheco back. He's a full practice this week. He's going to be good to go along with Charles Omenihu.
Out there in Las Vegas, Gardner Minshew does have a fractured clavicle. So he is out. Quarterback one is now Aiden O'Connell. He did beat Kansas City last season with 62 passing yards.
I feel like I need like an alliteration or just something every time. Maybe an onomatopoeia just to be like Brewman, like whoop, 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 stumbling. All right, J.K. Dobbins, Chargers running back. He is going to miss some time. He's definitely going to be out this week with his knee sprain. So a bit vague, but hey, don't look for J.K. anytime soon here. I'm expecting around 2 to 4 weeks there.
Yeah, that Indianapolis Colts wide receiver group did take a little bit of a shot. Josh Downs with a shoulder injury, landed hard on his right shoulder last week. He's unlikely to be out there this week and potentially for a couple weeks coming up. So we'll have to wait for some more info on that one.
Commandos, Brian Robinson, running back number 1, rolled up on a little bit of a concern, but no high ankle sprain, no fracture, and he practiced, limited practice this week. Bit of a surprise. Great sign for him to be able to play this week. So Brian Robinson, squarely probable at this point.
Yeah, you mentioned Houston's front four earlier. Their back end took a shot. Jalen Petrie did have a pec strain earlier last week. We are still waiting on MRI to figure out exactly what the severity is, but he's likely to at least miss the next 4 to 6 weeks.
We've got Goldilocks. Yes, that's right. The sun is shining again in Jacksonville because Trevor Lawrence has had 2 limited practices this week and is expected to play. Shoulder injury to his non-throwing shoulder. So it looks like he will not get surgery and he's going to tough it out this season.
Yeah, down in hold on. Hold the phone. Where my sheets go? There it is. Where are we? Jordan Whitehead.
Yeah, we're going Jordan Whitehead.
Jordan Whitehead, pec strain, just like Jalen Petrie down there in Tampa Bay. Grade 2 pec injury, probably out a couple months.
There we go. Sticking with the defensive side of the ball, because we know of defense. Philadelphia pass rusher, 36-year-old Brandon Graham, out for the season, torn tricep. Also, Bryce Huff already on IR. So that's 2 of the Eagles' defensive ends who are going to be out for the season.
Yeah, those Ratbirds might be getting a little bit of help back this week. The Ravens, Roquan Smith did start practicing this week after a hamstring strain a couple weeks ago against the Steelers. It is looking promising for him coming up this week.
And Bills tight end Dalton Kincaid, all coming off the bye, did not practice. Not a great sign. Hasn't practiced since that knee injury. Getting a bit concerning there.
And then finally, the Buffalo Bills also have linebacker Matt Milano looking pretty good. He is back to full practice this week. So is this the time that we actually see Matt Milano get back on the field after a couple of pretty serious injuries over the last couple of years?
Is it a bird? Is it a plane? No, it's Matt Milano back on the fucking field. I cannot believe my eyes. That is crazy. But oh wow! All right, that folks is your fastest 3 minutes. I feel like we might need to just get a soundboard and just have Berman just whoop whoop whoop.
We should time it and see if we can cut it down to like 250, 245.
We should actually get a timer on top and see how close we are to 3 minutes. This is what you get, folks. Look, we're trying to system improvements, process improvements. It's a new show. That's what we're trying to do, baby.
Yeah, I mean, it's a kind of a combo show this week. Usually we got the Monday, we got the Thursday, we go through the full injury breakdown on Monday. Couldn't do that with the combo show. So
yeah, All right, folks, let's keep it going here. And in order to do that, I got to tell you folks about Underdog Fantasy. Underdog is feast week from today until Sunday. During that time, you'll be getting profit boots, tits count tokens, gimme picks, and so much more. I know they just threw to me, hey, you want to deposit some money? We'll give you a 50% deposit match. Okay, I'll take it, right? And for my new users, you can get a 50% deposit match up to $1,000 in bonus cash using our promo code SGPN-DOC. So sign up with SGPN-DOC or with Underdog with SGPN-DOC there. Claim your special pick and first time deposit up to $1,000. UnderdogFantasy.com. Promo code SGPN-DOC. And to show you how much we love Underdog, we're giving you 2 Underdog slips for the price of one. I think if one is $0.00. What does that make 2? $80? Is that? I think we're still free, right?
Yeah.
Okay, just checking. All right, here we go. So we're gonna do 2 slips this week because we've got so much football. We didn't touch on it, but there's no bye weeks this week, so we've got everybody in the National Football League playing. So that means there's a ton of action to get on, and that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to give out our first play. It's going to be solely the Thursday games, and then we will talk about what we like from the weekend. Derek will give that one out. So first up, Caleb Williams, higher than 31.5 rushing yards there. This is a situation where he's been using his legs a lot more recently. He's hit this number definitely the past 2 weeks since that offense has changed, since we've got to change the offensive coordinator. And you also have a Detroit defense that they've got some injuries on both the linebacking core with Anzalone, obviously Aiden Hutchinson. There you've got Carlton Davis is going to be out. We'll get more into depth into that, but that defense has been taking some hits. So I like Caleb Williams to be able to kind of find his way through the ground because, you've always got Brian Branch lurking in there if he's going to try to throw the ball. So I actually like him to use his legs this week. Also, Malik Neighbors, higher than 67.5 receiving yards. Derek touched on it a little bit, but essentially that cornerback room for the Dallas Cowboys is very beat up. Kalen Carson, the rookie who stepped in and done pretty well, he's going to be on the IR. You've got Trayvon Diggs, who did not practice yesterday. He's questionable in this game. Deron Bland just coming off the IR. Yep. And Malik Neighbors, let's be honest, he put full diva and said, give me the fucking ball. And I think that's exactly whether it's Drew Lock, Tommy Cutlets, Danny DeVito, I don't give a damn. Somebody's throwing in the ball because that's all we got in New York.
I hope it's not Danny DeVito.
To wrap it up, Josh Jacobs, higher than 74.5 rushing yards. He's also hit this in the past 6 weeks. Josh Jacobs has been a revelation for this Green Bay team. Jordan Love, a bit of a gunslinger, not super trustworthy. He makes some pretty throws, also makes some horrendous throws. But you know what has been trustworthy? Just handing the ball off to Josh Jacobs 20 times. It's going to be cold weather. Those Miami boys are not going to want to be tackling Josh Jacobs repeatedly. So we like Josh Jacobs higher than 74.5 rushing yards. So we got Caleb Williams higher than 31.5 rushing yards, Malik Neighbors higher than 67.5 receiving yards, and Josh Jacobs higher than 74.5 receiving yards for a nice 6x your money over on Underdog Fantasy. What do you got for us for our NFL Sunday?
Yeah, we're all on the positive side heading into the Thanksgiving holiday. So we have 3 more hires for y'all. George Pickens, higher than 28.5 yards for his longest reception. He's hit this, the last 3 or 4 games, I believe. He hits this pretty consistently, especially since Russell Wilson's been in there. That moon ball has been opened up. 6 games. Yeah, 6 games. But yeah, that moon ball has been unleashed. George Pickens does have a little bit of elusiveness himself. to take a little 10-yard slant for 30 yards. So give us George Pickens higher than 28.5 yards for a longest reception. Nico Collins, just to get in the end zone against this Jacksonville Jags defense. We talked a little bit earlier how that Houston defense is beat up. Their offense, although their offensive line has struggled, is still very, very capable of putting up some points. So give us Nico Collins to have a little bit of a day coming off that hamstring injury a couple weeks ago. And then Kyler Murray, talk about another guy that is fairly elusive. Let's go higher than 248.5 passing and rushing yards. Kyler Murray, obviously very elusive running quarterback, but going up against that Minnesota defense that gives up quite a bit through the passing game. I think Arizona does keep this one close and has a chance at winning it on Sunday. So if that's going to happen, Kyler has to lead them and put up some yards.
Yes, sir. All right. Underdog Fantasy, promo code SGPN Doc. And that plays out a little bit more than 6x, as you can obviously see. 15 on both there. It pays out like, the spicy play there is Nico Collins to get into the end zone. So don't worry, folks. If you like spice in your life, Underdog Fantasy has it. All right. It's time, baby. It is time for our Doc's prescription, a.k.a. our best bets, a.k.a. what we feel absolutely great about. 3 sides or totals that we absolutely love for this week. First up, we've got the Arizona Cardinals plus 3.5, minus 112 when we put this in. Look, they're playing a Minnesota Vikings team that has been like the Houston Texans, and we just saw, have been primed to take an L. Sam Darnold has clearly hit a regression, a la why they picked up Daniel Jones and his broken self off the street. I think this Cardinals team, yes, they played bad last week, but they've been fairly impressive, and they've been doing well on the road. We talked about Kyler Murray. Vikings put Ivan Pace, their star linebacker, on the IR recently. I think that gives them some issues with containing Kyler Murray. They've already have a pretty porous pass defense. And yeah, they've been winning, but if anything, they've been winning close. So, I like the Cardinals to get the win here, but I definitely like them to keep it within the number at plus 3.5 at minus 112. Also, your Baltimore Ravens going up against the Philadelphia Eagles. Give me Baltimore minus 3 at home. Look, I know everyone's trying to fall in love with the Eagles, and, we saw them against the Rams, but they really have not beaten that many teams with a winning record. I think they've been very, very they've had a very, very favorable schedule off the bye. They were 2-2 going into the bye, and then they hit the bye, and everyone thinks they figured it out. No, I think they just played shit-ass teams. That is not what the Ravens are, especially against the NFC. Lamar is, one of the best. Also, Brandon Graham, Bryce Huff, Darius Slay, 3 big injuries on the defensive side of the ball. Also, you have Devonta Smith still not practicing. So Roquan Smith, on the other hand, with his hamstring injury, he is practicing. So I like that development. And also nose tackle Michael Pierce, starting nose tackle, just activated off. Well, he was designated to return off the IR. So you got some guys in Roquan Smith and Michael Pierce who are coming back on the defense who can do one thing, and that is stop the run.
Yep.
First, if you want to beat the Eagles, you got to load the box. You got to stop Saquon. And then from there, especially with no A.J. Smith, I think you got a good shot with Jalen Hurts just dropping back and becoming a drop back passer. So I like Baltimore minus 3 there. Another one. So let's go with Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Carolina Panthers over 46.5 minus 110 there. Look, this is Bryce Young may be competent. Let's pump the brakes there. Let's see. If he was able to put up, 27 points against the Kansas City Chiefs defense, imagine, what's he going to put up against this Buccaneers defense that's missing their starting safety and still got some guys out with Tyke Smith not practicing still. So it's a secondary that's already bad, and now they're beat up. And then on the flip side, who have the Panthers stopped? The offense has looked pretty better the past couple of weeks, but it's not like the defense has really tightened the screws. So I like Baker and Mike Evans being fully healthy off his hamstring. I like both these teams. I think it's a back and forth game. I think both these teams are easily in the 20s. So give me the over 46.5 there. And then finally, the LA Chargers. It's all the way down to -1 right now. So it was -2.5. The J.K. Dobbins news came and people got scared. They dropped the line. Give me the Chargers at basically a pick 'em or -2.5. I think they win this game, and I think they do it, in handily fashion. So right now it's at -1. We bought this a little bit later or earlier. Excuse me.
Just go ahead and make it a little pleaser.
Go ahead.
Bump it up.
Yeah, you can bump it up at plus money. But one of the biggest things here, yes, J.K. Dobbins is out. But we talked about Gus Edwards being able to step in, whether it's Hassan Haskins, Kamani Vidal. I think the biggest thing is the biggest difference in this game for me, Chargers offensive line versus the Atlanta Falcons defensive line. It has been well documented. The Atlanta Falcons have had almost a negative pass rush this season. Even if they went out and got Matthew Judon, it has not magically solved all their issues. With Joe Alt and Rashawn Slater on the bookends, I think that Justin Herbert's going to have time. He's going to be able to carve up this defense. He's going to use his legs. We're going to get Gus Edwards involved. And I really like this defense that's been playing well under defense coordinator Jesse Minter. Look, I've been saying it the whole season. Atlanta Falcons are frauds, and I think this Chargers team is a legit contender team. Even though, yes, it's on the road, but Atlanta in a dome, I think the Chargers will do just fine. So give me the Chargers to get the W there. All right, my friend, what about you? What are your best bets for NFL Week 13?
Yeah, let's start off kind of where you did with Arizona. So Arizona, in general, is just a feisty defensive team, and I think going up against Minnesota, like you said, I mean, Sam Darnold has taken a step back and has started to look like the Sam Darnold of old. I think the Arizona Cardinals and Kyler Murray can keep this one close. And like I said a little bit ago, I do think they have a shot at winning this one outright. The Houston Texans, this is kind of a spreadsheet play. The Texans have won in Jacksonville 6 straight games. We've talked about how Houston's defense is a little bit beat up. Jacksonville's offense sucks. I don't know if that really matters. And Houston's offense can still put up some points. So give me Houston Texans -4. You talked a little bit about the Baltimore Ravens. We have a couple shared picks here. So Lamar versus the NFC is 23-3. Yes, they are going up against Philly, who does and has been putting up some good numbers offensively, could keep up with them. But, if I were to look at a quarterback running back duo, both of these teams have awesome running threats out of the backfield, but it doesn't get any better than Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry. So give me the Baltimore Ravens at -3, and then give me the Pittsburgh Steelers to win outright in Cincinnati this weekend. Yes, the Steelers did play last Thursday against the Browns. Didn't look real great in the snow. But they do have a little bit of extra rest. The Bengals are coming off their bye. I don't necessarily think the Bengals would want to follow up their bye with a team with extra rest themselves. And the Steelers defense just has shut teams down pretty much all season. So I do think they're able to slow Joe Burrow down this game and end up winning. So give me the Steelers on the money line at +136.
Yeah, no, I really like the Steelers play. I mean, this week, I don't know, man. I feel like it was really hard to just narrow it down to 4, which I know 4 is a lot for giving out some locks, but it was tough, man. I like the Steelers. I like Washington. I like the Jets. It was really the toughest part was narrowing down, which
you said, there were 5 or 6 kind of smash plays to me that I was like, ooh, I don't.
But I feel real good about this week, man. Who knows? Maybe the famous last word
has to be better than last week. Holy smokes! Last week was wild.
Last week was a wild week. What the fuck happened last week? It was between I mean, Browns Steelers was kind of made sense. We talked about that.
Yeah,
but just some of those games, Panthers keeping it close. Titans. It was crazy.
No doubt. Yeah, hopefully. We rebound after last week because, yes, I think last week was probably our worst week as a show, but it's all good. It's all good.
It was coming off a really good week for a show, too. Ebbs and flows of gambling, baby. We came off one of our better weeks and then boom, right? Punch in the gut. But that just means we're going right back up. So, I really do feel good about this week. And it's good that we feel good about this week because it's Degen Parlay time, baby. It is time where
let's get paid.
You got to feel great to be able to hit one of these. I'm going to give you a nice Thanksgiving Degen parlay while you're sitting down, talking to Uncle Bobby, going on your cousin walk. Yeah, you're eating your yams, your potatoes, whatever you're eating, man. Hopefully you're just enjoying some nice family fun. But just in the back of your mind, give you something to sweat a little bit. Give you something to be like, once this starts hitting, you really start getting excited. And by the end of the day, you got grandma cheering for a Dontavius Wicks touchdown. But here we go. Roschon Johnson, anytime touchdown. Tim Patrick, 50-plus receiving yards. Malik Neighbors, anytime touchdown. And Dontavian Wicks, anytime touchdown. 198-1.
Woo!
Not that we got to get too in depth for 198-1, but very quickly, Roschon Johnson, look, he's kind of their goal line back. He is one of their bruising backs. I think they've learned from giving it to backup centers on the goal line when they fumbled against Washington. How about we just give it to our actual kind of battering ram in Roschon Johnson? I do expect there to be some points in that game. I think it's going to be a little bit closer. We'll talk about it, but I think it's going to be a little bit closer than what people are projecting there. Bears offense looking a little bit better as long as they got rid of Shane Waldron.
Yeah.
On the flip side, Tim Patrick, look, you've got Khalif Raymond out. He's going to be out for a couple weeks. He slotted in well. Bears are going to be down as starting safety. I think there's going to be an opportunity for Tim Patrick to get some there. Again, I'm kind of hinting at it, but I think this game is going to have a little more points than people think. So give me Tim Patrick, 50-plus receiving yards. Malik Neighbors, we talked about it. We're about to talk about it again. Cowboys cornerback room is decimated with injuries. Malik Neighbors, he's one of the only bright spots in New York. Get him the ball. And Dontavian Wicks, no Romeo Doubs this week. He I think he's tied for second in the team with 4 touchdowns on the year. So he is someone who gets in the end zone. So all 4 of those simple things to happen, 198-1.
I like it. I like it.
What do you got for the good people?
Almost a Thanksgiving Day Degen parlay, but I threw a little Black Friday special in there just to, go do all your shopping late Thursday night, early Friday morning, whatever, and then just go ahead and get it all paid for when Xavier Worthy finds the end zone that afternoon. But give me Sam Laporta to score in the early game, Malik Neighbors to score in the second game, and then Josh Jacobs to score twice in the nightcap on Thursday night. And then Xavier Worthy, like I said, to go ahead and punch this one home Friday afternoon. Sam Laporta, I do think Detroit gets it going a little bit through the air against Chicago. And I think Laporta just lines up really well against that Chicago Bears linebacking core. Malik Neighbors, you kind of already touched on him. Josh Jacobs, speaking of battering rams, he has made a huge difference to that Green Bay offense. I do think he ends up getting in the end zone a couple times against that Miami defense. Miami's defense has been pretty good through the air and on the ground this year, but in the cold Green Bay night, nobody's going to want to tackle Josh Jacobs. And then Xavier Worthy, let's show off the new toy on Black Friday and get him in the end zone for 130-1, $10, 1,300. Pays for all your Christmas gifts.
There you go. That's too easy right there. We're going right into the next holiday, baby.
Right.
All right, folks. We're going to continue on. We've got our Thanksgiving slate breakdown. But before we do that, let's tell you about our friends over at MyBookie. That's right. We're brought to you by MyBookie.ag. MyBookie has been running on SGPN for years. One of the OG sponsors. They believe in us when we were wee little lads at SGPN there. Check out their new and improved website. Great on mobile, plus props for every game, and a live dealer casino. Gotta love that. Even new early cash out options. Look, we've given out some bets, whether you want to go ahead and run to the table for the Degen, or if you just want to take, Zay Flowers, Gus Edwards, Matthew Stafford, Tyrone Tracy, Tyreek Hill, or Tank Bigsby. Some of the picks that we feel real good about. So before you do that, head to mybookie.ag, but use promo code SGPN for 100% deposit match up to $1,000 plus a $10 casino chip. Look, every Degen, $10 in a dream, baby. That's all you need. Go on a heater, baby. Take the blackjack, the roulette tables, whatever it may be. That's mybookie.ag, promo code SGPN. We're also brought to you by our friends over at Rhythm. That's right. Rhythm knows models. You can tell your friends, hey, I know models. Just don't tell them they're AI-powered models for sports bettors of all levels with custom predictive betting models in seconds, and get predictions for betting on money lines, spreads, totals, and props. Build your own model or copy one of the top-performing models from the leaderboard, or have Rhythm build a model for you. You tell it what stats you like. You say, hey, this is what I care about, and boom, you can build your own model. Maybe just don't tell the wife on that one. Now you can track props in the Rhythm app. NFL picks, NFL props, college football, college basketball, and NBA. Rhythm has it all. Claim your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's sportsgamingpodcast.com/RIDHMM. All right, folks, we've made it to the turkey portion of the day here.
Oh, it's like a nice Thanksgiving spread.
Look at that spread.
Evenly distributed across the table there. I can't wait.
I can't wait for tomorrow, man. Oh, man, this is going to be great. I know everyone's going to be excited, but, seeing family and getting together and having drinks is fun. But sweating out bets together is even more fun. So definitely get people, get people on your bets. Take what we're saying, make your own bets, do your own research, and then get the whole fam on a nice parlay here. But let's go ahead and do it, my friend. This is what we're going to do. So obviously we usually do one game that we break down. We get a little in depth, yada, yada, yada. We got 3 games. So what we're going to do is we're going to give you obviously we're going to go through kind of the spreads, talk about that. We're going to talk injuries, and then we're going to give you 1 or 2 bets, maybe 3 each as far as what we really like for each game. And then we're going to get the hell out of here and go celebrate with our own families. So without further ado, do you mind running through the live odds for us? Let's go ahead and let's start with Chicago and Detroit.
Let's do it. So Chicago still sitting at 9.5-point dogs. Lions are favored by 9.5. Total still sitting at 47.5. And the money line has not changed. It's still plus 350 for the Bears and minus 455 for the Lions.
Beautiful, beautiful. All right. Now that it's Thursday or Wednesday, we've got a pretty good idea on injuries. So that makes this pretty easy. So starting left guard for the Bears, Ryan Bates is going to be out with a concussion. Starting safety because Jaquan Brisker is on the IR. Elijah Hicks is going to be out. So really it's the third string safety that's going to have to step up there. That's the strong safety position. And then the Lions side, left tackle Taylor Decker and Carlton Davis, starting quarterback, are both going to be out. Dan Skipper is going to fill in nicely at the left tackle spot. Terrion Arnold, the rookie out of Alabama, is coming back from injury, so hopefully he can take over Carlton Davis's spot there. Yep. That Manuel Mosley was a guy they activated off IR last week, so they were going to miss Davis, but they got some guys coming to fill in. The big ones, David Montgomery and Amon-Ra St. Brown. Montgomery dealing with a shoulder injury, St. Brown dealing with a knee injury. They both had a very similar pattern. No practice Monday, limited practice Tuesday, full practice Wednesday, both questionable. Both guys that Dan Campbell has said he feels good about. I expect both of these guys to be able to play. So those are your injuries. What bets are you focusing on for this game?
Yeah, so I took a couple. Just talking about the game itself, I think the Lions end up actually winning a game on Thursday or on Thanksgiving Thursday, but this Lions team is a funky one. Like, I want to side with the Lions and say that they keep rolling and end up covering the 9.5, but that's a lot of points to the Lions on a Thanksgiving day. So I'm staying away from the line itself. Props wise, give me Sam Laporta over 36.5 receiving yards. And the Bears secondary is a little frisky back there. So I do think Jared Goff has a mishap and ends up throwing a pick.
Oh, okay.
So plus 125 for him to throw a pick. And where to go? Sam Laporta at minus 115 to go over 36.5.
Okay. I like it. I'm agreeing with you in the fact that I don't love this line. These lines, it like you said, the Lions are a tough team to kind of, you would expect. It's a division rivalry. Bears are playing better, but the Lions are just liable to blow anybody out. Hey, they're my Super Bowl pick this year. That was my preseason Super Bowl pick. Gave that out. So I love it, but I'm staying away from this one because I could see it going either way. However, on the prop side, give me Caleb Williams rushing. Give me 40+ rushing at plus 140. We talked about him, how he's hit these numbers the past 2 weeks. He's been looking good. He's been realizing when he needs to tuck it down and run. Detroit's dealt with some injuries. They have a solid defense, but they're definitely susceptible. I mean, Anthony Richardson hit this number very easily last week. Is Caleb Williams Anthony Richardson? Not quite, but he's been more impressive through the ground than I thought he was going to be. So I'm going to continue with his rushing there. And then, I'm going to target that secondary that, yes, they do get some turnovers, but they've not been quite as strong. And part of that's been the injuries. We talked about the Elijah Hicks injury with Jaquan Brisker already being out. I like a couple of the other guys to step up here. I like Jamison Williams, 60-plus receiving yards at plus 125. I also like Tim Patrick to get over, let's see, his 25-plus receiving yards is just plus 100. I will be sprinkling his ladder. I'm going to take him all the way up to 50-plus yards at plus 450. So just a couple of plays here. I like Caleb rushing, and I like some Detroit wide receivers outside of Amon-Ra St. Brown to have a little bit of a day here. All right, let's go ahead and head on over to the New York Giants taking on the Dallas Cowboys. Giants coming in at 2-9. Dallas, are they up to 4 wins now? Who gives a fuck? They're the Cowgirls. But tell us the live lines, please.
Yeah, things haven't moved much on this one either. Your G-men are still 3.5-point dogs going to Jerry World. Over under is still sitting right at 37.5. This seems to be that sluggish afternoon game. The Giants, you can get it plus 145 on the money line, and the Dallas Cowboys sitting right at minus 175.
Yeah, I've heard everyone talk about this being the game you take a nice tryptophan nap. If only I was so lucky. I've got to sweat through this game because it's the Cowgirls, and I have to believe that my Giants are somehow going to pull it out of their ass and figure it out. That is just the insane fan of me. I'm sure we've all got a little bit of that in you. So Giants side, we talked about Tommy Cutlets, Danny DeVito. Tommy DeVito, get the fuck off my team, Vito. So he's dealing with a bit of a forearm injury to his throwing arm. He was limited in practice. He did not travel with the team, so we'll see. I've really, game time decision. I'm not expecting him to be out there. I think it's going to be Drew Lock. You've got Deonta Banks, who's questionable, cornerback there. Maybe he's just afraid of going up against CeeDee Lamb. Who knows? Biggest thing, left tackle, Jameer Illuminor. He was the second string left tackle. He's going to be out with a quad injury. And Azeez Ojulari taking his yearly trip to the IR. He's going to be out as well. The Giants did get back Kayvon Thibodeau, so that kind of, add one, subtract one, whatever. There's a little bit of a balance there. It's the offensive line one that is really going to be huge. All right, we've got the Cowgirls. Cooper Rush is going to be good to go. He is going to be playing. But you got offensive guard Zach Martin, who's going to be out, as well as tight end Jake Ferguson. You've got linebacker Eric Kendricks, leader of that defense, did not practice at all this week. He's being called questionable, but again, no practice kind of doesn't bode well for him. You've got the rookie cornerback Kalen Carson, young player there, who stepped in for Deron Brown pretty nicely. He's going to be the IR with shoulder injury. And then you got cornerback Trayvon Diggs, limited practice Monday, did not practice Tuesday, limited practice Wednesday. A bit up and down, dealing with both groin and knee injuries. He is questionable. If he does play, he's going to be pretty damn limited. So that is your injury situation. What are you looking at for your bets for this game?
Yeah, on this one, I do like a side. And surprisingly, I do like your New York Football Giants to keep this one at least close, if not end up winning this one outright. So give me the Giants at plus 3.5. And then, heck with it. Give me Tyrone Tracy to get in the end zone. I already talked about his over yards. We talked about that a little bit earlier. So one of those he'll end up getting in the end zone. But the Cowboys, I believe, are 0-5 this year at home. And I don't expect them to necessarily change that trend this week. So give me Tommy Cutlets or Drew Lock or whoever to keep this one close and end up covering that plus 3.
Look, man, as much as I would love to take the Giants, I just can't do it, man. I don't know. I'm gonna root for him, obviously.
This is why you need to check yourself, maybe change your alliances all the way through.
Get the fuck out of here. No. I'm a Giants fan till I fucking die. I don't give a shit. But yeah, I'm gonna be out there. I'm gonna be with my pops tomorrow. With the whole fam. We're gonna be Misery loves company, baby. I've got him a nice look. I hope he's not checking this out, but I got him a nice Frank Sinatra and Jack Daniels. Yes, it's one limited edition. Nice. So we're gonna be enjoying some of that tomorrow to kind of wait our ways through this. But I will not be on a side because I will never bet on the Cowgirls, and I just can't trust my damn Giants. However, I do have a couple plays that I really do like in this game. I'm going to take you to the defensive side. I gave this out over on X a little bit earlier today. Let's see if I can get an updated number on this. But essentially where I'm going here is give me Demarion Overshown to have over a quarter of a sack It was plus 215 earlier today. It is currently sitting at plus 215. Yeah, there it is.
There you go.
I saw it bump down a little bit. Now it's back up. Here's the situation, folks. He is leading the team. Well, he's tied for the lead in sacks with Micah Parsons. They both have 5. Now, Giants are now on their 3rd string left tackle. They, Jermaine Illuminor was their starting right tackle. Andrew Thomas was their starting left tackle. Thomas out for the year. Illuminor tried to move to left tackle. Now he's out for this week. This Giants offensive line is already not very good. There's going to be some sacks, I think, both ways. But give me Overshawn. I think the price is just mispriced. I mean, Micah Parsons, yes, big name. He's got 5 sacks. He's sitting at minus 190. DeMarvion Overshawn also has 5 sacks, 4 sacks in the last 5 weeks, and he's sitting at plus 215. That's just a gross misprice. With the defensive side of props, I've talked about it, but they really are big on, I don't think they really know what the fuck they're doing. They're just looking at the big names and just kind of oh, he'll probably get a sack. So there is some opportunities, some value there. And then Malik Neighbors. Look, Malik Neighbors is a guy we've talked about. His number's been rising. So, you want to get in while you can. I took 70 plus when it was at plus 105. Now it's at minus 115. I do think he has a game. I also like his over receptions. It was 6.5. Again, that was plus money. Now it's at minus 115. I think everyone's kind of understanding this Cowboys room is beat up. He's kind of been a diva. He's talking about get me the ball, which makes fucking sense. Dude, get this guy the ball. He's electric. So I really like Malik Neighbors. And then, the other one is Schoonmaker there. Let's see what his line. I don't know if they put him out yet, but he's had 50-plus receiving yards in the past 2 weeks. No Jake Ferguson. Backup quarterback Cooper Rush. He likes the outlet and the tight end. So I will be on Schoonmaker props whenever they are out. So those are the 3 things I am targeting in this game. All right, my friend, last one, and then we're getting the fuck out of here.
Let's do it. The Dolphins against the Green Bay Packers. The Dolphins are still sitting at 3.5-point dogs. Going to Green Bay, over-under still sits at 47.5. And money line wise, things haven't changed. We're still sitting at plus 142 for the Dolphins and minus 170 for the Green Bay Packers.
All right, on the injury front, 3 injuries for both. So Dolphins, linebacker Anthony Walker is going to be out, as well as cornerback Kendall Fuller out with a concussion. Teron Armstead did not practice this week, but he's questionable. He's a tough guy. He may still play through it, although he's one of their better players that clearly tell you he's going to be limited, even in best case scenario. Packers side, cornerback Jair Alexander out after not practicing this week, as well as Romeo Doubs. I will say for the Packers, Jair Alexander loves to miss games. As good as he is, he just does. So they are used to it. They've had a lot of practice, whereas the Dolphins, that secondary is very, very thin without Fuller. So we will see. We talked about Xavier McKinney. He missed the day with personal, but he's going to be good to go. So that is it on the injury front. What are you talking about on the betting front?
Yeah, on this one, I again like a side here. I do like the Green Bay Packers. At home in Lambeau in the fucking cold. I think game time temperature is supposed to be like 30 degrees, and we know how Miami
football weather, baby.
Yeah, well, for most teams except for the Miami Dolphins, they don't play well in the cold. And Green Bay is coming off of a massive win against San Francisco. I think they keep rolling here. I also think, like I said earlier, Josh Jacobs is going to have a pretty good game in this one. Nobody wants to tackle him in 50, 60, 70 degree weather, let alone 30 degree weather. He's hit the 80 number in, I believe, 3 of the last 4 games, but give me him to go over 80 yards in this one. I think it was at plus 115. And then, give me the Green Bay Packers at minus 3.5 at home.
Yeah, no, I'm right there with you. I'm absolutely co-signing. I think that's really where I feel the best about it. Just to go on top of yours, drop the John Hancock down. I like Packers minus 3.5 at home. It's Lambeau Field. It is, almost December. It's going to be
frozen
cold
tundra,
and you've got probably the worst team to go up to the cold, right? We saw them in the playoffs against the Chiefs look like an absolute shell of themselves. I think this team is significantly worse than that playoff team last year. I think they've had a good opportunity of picking up some wins against some god-awful teams, and I don't think they're any bit of a playoff contender. Well, the Packers are clearly a playoff contender. I think Josh Jacobs is the one who does it, right? We talked about him about any way you can take him. I'll take him. We talked about the rushing yards. You gave out the 80 plus at plus 105. I like him all the way up to 100. I like his over 17.5 rushing attempts. I like him, of course, a touchdown, 2 touchdowns. Like, I think it's going to be Josh Jacobs, and more Josh Jacobs. And what I will say is, let's see what the Jordan Love interception prop is at, because that's always fun.
Yep. That one's always live.
Yeah, I would so a nice little Jordan Love interceptions over and Packers on the money line. Nice little correlation there. Plays 2-1 plus 208 there. If you want to take the spread minus 3.5, that's almost 3-1 and plus 292. I think that might be a little bit of a fun one. If you want to get a little bit spicy, go with the Jordan Love interception, but also take the Packers to win the game. He's just a gunslinger, man. I don't know. He looks really good. He's
thrown one in every single game except for last week, and even then he got bailed out by a pick or by a flag. So
yeah, I mean, flag, and then they had a couple ones they just flat out dropped. So Jalen Ramsey or one of those guys in the secondary, Javon Holland or someone like that, even Jordan Porter to get their hands on one, I could definitely see. One of those where he throws it and then LaFleur is like, all right, let's just hand the ball off to Josh Jacobs. What the fuck are we doing? So, I'm on the Packers. I'm on Jacobs, and I like love to have a little bit of an interception correlated with them to also win the game. All right. I think we did it just at about the hour mark. Of course, this was a combined episode with our Monday and Thursday because it's the holidays. But next week, we'll be back to a normal schedule. Monday, 7:15 Eastern, live on X and YouTube. Thursday, same time, same place. Monday's show is going to be a little bit more fantasy-centric as usual. And then Thursday, we're giving you actionable information, things when we actually have lines, and we're going to be betting ourselves to hopefully we all make some money. All right, my friend, you got anything for the good people before we get out of here?
Yeah, I have a question for you. What are you most looking forward to food-wise tomorrow?
Does the Frank Sinatra whiskey count? Is that food or is?
I would be looking forward to that too, but that wasn't what I was looking for.
Not exactly the answer you're looking for.
Not exactly.
Look, I'm a big appetizers guy. I mean, I know. Jen and I are bringing the appetizers, but we got some brie pastry with some honey and jelly cooked up. We're making some buffalo chicken dip. Gonna be able to do that. I think I'm excited for it all. I saw there's gonna be some fireball in play, so I'm just ready for good family fun. What about you, my friend? What are you looking forward to?
Sweet potato casserole. It's a dessert that you can eat for dinner. Like, yeah, give me that. The sweet potatoes with the brown sugar and marshmallows
on top. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I will say
that all day.
I had a nice work Friendsgiving, Thanksgiving thing, and I signed up to make that. I had never eaten it before. I never made it. I made it for the first time and ate it for the first time. It's pretty fucking good.
And honestly, I mean,
last week I would have had nothing to contribute, but now I can confidently say it's good.
Well, and for the listener's sake, this is coming from a guy that I don't know if you knew how to make like macaroni and cheese in college. So if your sweet potato casserole is pretty good, just wait.
All right, asshole. Here we go. Let's get out of here. Let's let the good people go enjoy some nice family fun. Of course, folks, we appreciate all the follows, the likes, and subscribes. We're a new show. It's our first season. We're
share it out to the fam tomorrow.
Shout out to the fam. Look, yeah, exactly. Hey guys, what have you been up to? Well, I've checked out these two idiots, but sometimes they give out some nice winners and they like to talk football. Show your family to the Degen Docs. Giving is caring. You want to give out all these bets. Right. All right, folks. You know what they say. A lock a day keeps the bookie away. And here at the Degen Docs, we've got your prescription. All right, folks, from here at the Degen Docs, we are out of here.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Let it ride. What's up, Degens? Doc here. As a proud member of the U.S. Army and a lover of football, sometimes those two things cross over on here. But as you probably already know, as a lowly captain, these are just my opinions. These are not opinions that are representative of the entire DoD or the U.S. Army. The same thing goes for any references to any commercial products or hyperlinks. Again, that does not constitute an endorsement from the DoD or the Army. I hope you enjoyed the show, and as always, let it ride, baby.